Hey y'all, have you ever wondered why when you actually got a job, you guys all did the same thing, the standard operation and procedure of the business? Well, look, I'm here to tell you, if you're an entrepreneur, this is going to make or break your team and how effective they are. It's your girl K650 Credit, and today we're talking about how to properly set up standard operations and procedures, better known as SOPs. This is going to be the heartbeat of your company when it comes down to hiring employees. All right, let's get into the video. Now, if you're anything like me, and y'all know, I'll be trying to tell you, if you're anything like me, we did this entrepreneurship thing all wrong before we got it right. And one thing that I got wrong was actually having standard operations and procedures in place for the people who worked for me. I had really no idea what standard operations and procedures were, why they were important, or how to even start. So I'm going to break down to you the importance of standard operations and procedures, better known as SOPs, and how do you implement this in your business when you're hiring employees. So first things first, you ever wonder why you go to McDonald's and they all say the same thing? They all wear the same thing. You go to McDonald's, you know kind of what to expect. It's because there's procedures in place to make sure that everybody is operating at the same standards at each location. Within your own business, you also want to make sure this is happening, because the worst thing is whenever you do your calls or whenever you show up for your business, things are being ran one way, and then when you hire a team, it's not being ran the same way. Most of the time it's because your team just doesn't operate on standards. You've never put those standards into place. So the first place I can think of that I learned standard operations and procedures and the importance of it is when I worked at my 9-to-5. And I told you guys, I learned so much from working at my 9-to-5. And I think that so many people think 9-to-5s are not cool or like you shouldn't do it. You don't realize that your 9-to-5 is your first mentor. It's the first place you're really going to understand business, especially if you ask questions. So if you're working a 9-to-5, don't be ashamed. Get what you can get out of it. Make sure that you're learning everything you can learn. Make sure you're asking questions and make sure you're really there to absorb information. Working a 9-to-5 helped me be an amazing entrepreneur. And when I say amazing, I mean I learned the do's and don'ts. I learned how I wanted to treat my staff. I learned how I wanted to run my own business. I learned that things I really hated about my boss is not things I really hated about her. There was a method and procedure behind it. All these things started at work. So don't hate on your 9-to-5, please. Your 9-to-5 is there to help you if you allow it to be a tool. But we just got off track. So when I worked the 9-to-5, we used to have this booklet. How many of you guys went to a job, you got this big old booklet that they tell you gotta work through and read through and all this other stuff? Well, that's the standard operation and procedure. They expect you to be a certain way within their company so that if complaints happen or anything like that, there's expectation they have held you to. So in your own business, you want to have these same type of rules and regulations, because you do not want to be dealing with customer service issues because you forgot to tell your employees how to act. So the first thing you need to do is, as you are developing your brand and when it's only just you, I recommend doing this early so that you're not trying to fix it later like I did. I decided I want SOPs when I already had 3 people working for me. Complete bummer, because it made things so much harder. But when you're first operating and dealing with your business, especially when it's only you, it makes it a lot easier. Write down every single step that you take. So when you log into your computer, what passwords do you use? How do you go about your day? So when you wake up in the morning, do you check the emails first? Do you check the phones? Do you do disputing first? What does your day-to-day look like? Because when you then go to replace yourself, now you can really formulate a standard operation and procedure on how you want your manager or your assistant to conduct your company. So for instance, when I made my SOP for my manager, who now acts as me in the business, I made it so that I realized that at 9 o'clock, I was ready for work, right? So I had my first email go out. So I made sure that at 9 o'clock, I wrote down an SOP that at 9 o'clock, I need a morning email. And then I wrote down at 9:15, I need you to check all client emails. And at 10 o'clock, I need to make sure the consultation books are open. The only way I was able to formulate all these things is because I wrote down the things that I was doing in my business. But like I said, I did this later, so I had to work backwards. But for you, those of you who are watching, you can do this while you're actually building your business and before you get employees. Hey y'all, sorry to interrupt your episode, but I want to tell you something. If you're looking to build a business from start to finish, I would love to coach you. I will help you build this thing from start to finish, getting your LLC, your business address, your EIN number, you name it, I will help you do it. I know building a business can be completely hard and it can be stressful, but I want to coach you to get you to the finish line so you can go ahead and get funding for your business. So if this is you, click the link below and let me coach you on how to take your business from 0 to 6 figures today. Don't wait. Look, I want to coach you and I want to help you excel and achieve everything you're looking for in your business. All right, let's get back to the episode. So email goes out at 9:30. Consultations start at 10. How do you want people to answer your phones? Do you want them to be cheerful? Do you want them to be rude? Do you want them to sound like they just rolled out of bed? Whenever somebody answers my phone, you have to have a certain tone in your voice. There's a certain way you greet the customers, because say you're out sick one day, whoever replaces you still has to go by those same standard procedures. This is how we run things. This will save you so much time when trying to have to micromanage your business, because you already have procedures in place and you already have the things necessary for your team to succeed. The same thing goes for my dispute department or my billing department. There's scripts involved. There's ways you need to dispute. There's ways you conduct a dispute. There's ways you communicate to the client if there is a problem with dispute. All of these things are basically in a standard operation and procedure that I produce when hiring them. Now, this also holds your employees to certain standards, because if they do something wrong, then we have to make reference to the standard operation and procedures that we had in place, because that's not what is written. So why are you doing that? So it gives a lot of checks and balances in your business. And when I tell you the standard operation and procedures have to be detailed, they need to be by time. They need to be how you a template on what they can follow. You need to have logins. All the things that you think your employees need to run your business successfully needs to be in your standard operation procedures. I cannot tell you how when I first started my company, I had employees, I had no standard operation procedures, and I was always stressed out. I was always like, well, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? And why didn't this happen? And I realized I didn't set them up for success. It was my fault. So that little thing I told you guys about going into my 9 to 5, I realized, and I went back to the fact that my 9 to 5 used to make me do X, Y, and Z. I had to do KPIs, and I had to wear a certain uniform, and I had to greet a guest a certain way, and that all was given to me when I first started my position. So I needed to set up my employees for success, just like I was set up for success. So if you haven't set up standard operations and procedures in your business, make sure you do so. It will save you so much time, energy, stress, frustration, and your employees will actually thank you, because they don't have to wonder how to do something, what you expect from them. Everybody knows their job, and it helps with the actual productivity of your company. I'll teach you guys about why I do salary versus hourly in another video, but I would tell you that most people that work for me work part-time, because our SOPs are so tight. It doesn't require them to be lingering around. They get the job done and they go home. I think it's very important to set up whoever is working for you for success. So take the time out after watching this video and really break down your company by category. So if you have a manager department, if you have a dispute department, a billing department, whatever that looks like for your company, make sure you break down how you want each person who's in that department to interact with your company. What does their entire day look like? I mean, from the time they clock into work, from the time they leave work, how do you want them to conduct business in your company? And with that will help you have a successful company, and that will make your employees happy. Everybody knows their role and everybody knows what's expected of them. So if you haven't already, go take the time, write this all out, and thank me later in another video. Subscribe, like, tell a friend to tell a friend. I love this. I live for this, and I'll see you guys on another episode.